All right, so for the chalk pastel, we're gonna go ahead and sharpen up two colors of General's chalk pastel pencils. So these are the chalk pastel pencils. They have the erasers at the end. Obviously don't sharpen the eraser. Use the hand sharpener only to sharpen from the tip downward, okay? So these little red sharpeners that are on tables or hand sharpeners, just do those over the bin on your table. Now for practice today, because we're going to be doing some analogous color blending, as always, you're going to choose two colors that are side by side on the color wheel. So here are your options. You can do yellow and orange, orange and pink, orange and red, red and pink, pink and violet, violet and blue, blue and green, green and yellow. Okay, so if I didn't mention the color combination, it will not work for this particular activity. Now, keep in mind the following. Pink is not a color that's on the color wheel. It's actually a tint of red, but we always use it as our analogous color sets just because they always give it to me in the color packs, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do two boxes of what is called a base fade, okay? So I'm just going to press hard with my chalk pastel pencil and gradually let up the pressure as I go across the box. Okay, you can do two of the same color. You can do one color here, one color here. It does not matter to me. Okay, so I'm gonna press hard on the left-hand side and then gradually let up the pressure toward the medium pressure at the middle of the box, and then gradually let up to lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and then off. Okay, like so. All right, I'm gonna do this again here. So hard pressure, letting up to medium pressure toward the middle, lighter medium, even lighter pressure, and then letting off. Okay, so the goal is to not have pressure that looks like this, that looks scratchy and scraggly, okay, but to have overlapping strokes like so, okay. Now, couple of things. You can, because this is essentially a chalk pastel except in a sharpenable form, which I absolutely love, you're going to take a clean finger right now. You could also use a blending stump, which I don't have out, and you're going to set your powder lightest to darkest. Okay, if you set it lightest to darkest, you can preserve the light. If you do it the opposite way, the whole thing will be the same color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch fingers and lightest to darkest like so. Okay, so you might have to wipe off your fingers on a piece of paper towel or tissue or something like that. Okay, now for my analogous color fade, I am going to start with the darker of the two colors. Okay, so in my case, it's going to be red as the darker one to do my base fade. Okay, I'm going to bring in the lighter one from the opposite side and then set my powder lightest to darkest. Okay, so hard pressure, medium light pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off. Doing the same thing again. You are more than welcome to try starting with your lighter color as the base. I think it works best this way though. So hard, medium light, lighter, lightest, off, okay? Now with pretty hard pressure, most of the way from the opposite side, I'm gonna go ahead and press hard most of the way until the flecks of the white of the paper start to go away. Then I'm gonna let up my pressure right in there, okay? So still pretty hard pressure, starting to let up the pressure, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, letting up, and off, okay? Sometimes if your color fade looks mostly like the second color, you can always do hard, medium, light over top just to kind of blend that initial color back in, okay? So just know that you can do that, right? Adding the lighter color in from the opposite side one more time. So hard pressure, most of the way through. Letting up to medium, letting up to light. I'll add a little bit more of that red on top, hard, medium, and light. Right in there, like so, okay? At this point, I'm gonna, with a clean finger, I'm going to go ahead and set the powder, lightest to darkest, like so. Switch fingers, lightest to darkest, okay? And it makes a really nice analogous color fade. Check out my fingers, they look awesome, okay? Now for dark to light to dark again, I'm gonna choose a color, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and just fade it out to the white of the paper in the middle and then bring that pressure back in, okay? So the lightest part of that is going to be in the center. So I'm gonna do hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, and off. Okay, now I'm going to start to gradually add that pressure back in. So medium, medium hard, harder, 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 and off. Okay, so I'm going to try it for a better one right here. I didn't do that one super great. Okay, so hard, medium, lightest in the center, very, very light, 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 light. Okay, gradually adding that pressure back in, medium, and then harder. Okay, and just as a heads up, I'm going to set the powder lightest to darkest. Okay, so I'm going to choose a clean finger, and I'm going to set lightest to darkest, switch fingers, start in the center again, lightest to darkest. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my fingers off. Okay, set this in the center, lightest to darkest, switch fingers, lightest to darkest, like so. Okay, so it preserves that highlight. Now I'm going to do this exact same thing in here. Okay, what I don't want to do is do this exact same technique, but do it straight up and down like so. Okay, in order to make this look three-dimensional, we have to curve our strokes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my hardest pressure. Make sure to hit the top and bottom of your circle. Hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure. Lightest pressure is almost straight up and down. Okay, and I'm actually going to rotate my paper. Okay, and do the exact same thing I just did, except on the other side. Okay, so hard pressure, medium pressure, lighter pressure, lightest pressure, straight up and down. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So most curved toward the outside with the hard pressure. Don't forget that top and bottom. As you go across, medium pressure, less curve, straight up and down in the center. Okay, least amount of pressure. I'm gonna try curving the opposite way. Adding that pressure back in, gradually, curving more and more and more and more as I go to the outside. Okay, last thing to share with you all is as follows. I'm gonna go ahead and set the powder with my finger. Okay, so I'm gonna set it lightest to darkest. So grab a clean finger, curve your strokes the opposite way, okay, along with your circle. Lightest to darkest, switch fingers, lightest to darkest. Okay, clean off your hands. Find a clean finger, lightest to darkest, switch fingers, lightest to darkest. Okay, so in conclusion, keeping that, making that look three-dimensional, I've got to go ahead and curve my strokes with that as well. Okay, so give that a shot. Good luck with that.